Alrighty, gamers and gooners, ladies, gentlemen, and female gentlemen, welcome to every single SCP-001 Explained. As you know, I've taken a little bit of a hiatus during the SCP arc. I've covered a whole lot of different SCPs, and I kind of took a little break to cover different parts of the lore. I am back, ladies and gentlemen, back down the SCP lore deep dive. As you know, I, Lord Nuxanor, will consume all lore. We've been doing Warhammer lore, Star Wars lore, Elden Ring lore. It's time to get into SCPs and do it with a vengeance. So, my boy Wendigoon here made a video, every SCP-001 proposal explained, and I am incredibly down to actually go through this, because I don't think there's any other way I would get through every SCP-001. I'm not saying I will consume every single SCP's lore, because there are a lot of wild ones. A lot of people in my chat have been recommending me, hey Nux, watch SCP-6969, the remote control vibrator. And I'm like, no, I'm not dedicating hours of my life to the remote control vibrator. Okay, so anyway, let's do the deep dive. SCP, every 001. It's time to goon, baby.
Hey everyone, and today we are covering every single SCP-001 proposal.
Right,
as I mentioned in my last video concerning SCPs, which link in the description if you want to see that, the identity of SCP-1 has never been revealed. Supposedly, this is to hide the true identity of SCP-1, as its powers either so great or its secret so important.
That is such a cool, like, lore reason as to what the strongest SCP is, right? So, for those of you that are unaware of SCP lore, since it's been a while since I've covered it, SCP is, secure, contain, plop, 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 plop. That's my theory as to what SCP stands for. Now, there's a lot of alternative understandings as to what SCP stands for, but that's what I'm going with. So, SCP, every single one of these SCPs, SCP, 69, SCP 621, all the different SCPs are different anomalous creatures and entities found in the world, where the SCP Foundation, secure, contain, penetrate, they'll take these guys and they will contain them to the best way possible. And all of them are various. Some of them are just little objects that are not really that dangerous. They're just anomalous and don't obey the laws of physics. And some of them are SCP-682, a regenerating lizard monster that continues getting stronger and stronger and stronger because it'll always adapt to its environment. So strong, in fact, that some would argue SCP-682 can become a god in the presence of another god. So you got some really wild shit in this universe. SCP-001's being the most dangerous. So dangerous, in fact, they don't want to confirm to you what the true SCP-001 is. So there's a lot of theories and proposals based on what the true SCP-001 is, and that is what we're covering today. This is, I think, probably the covering some of the most dangerous SCPs in the Foundation, so I'm very excited for this. Definitely leave a like, by the way, if you want more SCP content, okay? I will consume all lore. And SCPs are lore.
That they never want it to be public knowledge. What that means in the writing spectrum is that some of the best writers from the SCP universe have come together to compile a list of separate explanations to what this mystical entity could be. Okay. Most of these have to do with the 05 Council, with the explanation for how humanity came to exist in itself, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so the 05 Council are the top 5 people in the SCP Foundation. They have secured, they have penetrated, and they have contained most of the different SCPs that you find. They're so secret, no one knows their actual identity because they're so important. Now, I have covered, I think, 3 SCP-001s in the past. There are like dozens of them. Oh, there's 1305 members? Okay, so there's 1305 members apparently. So I've never actually did a deep dive specifically on the 05 Council yet. But, so I have not covered every single one of the 001s. I've covered 3 of them. I've covered the Dark Moon, I've covered the Scarlet King, which is basically interdimensional Satan, and I've covered When Day Breaks. Dark Moon is my favorite all-time SCP right now, so let's see where we go here.
We have got a lot of these to cover, 37 to be exact, so we'll go ahead and get into it. I do want to say really quick, thank you all so much for everything. The first SCP video I did is at 100,000 views now.
Oh, dude! I love Wendigoon so much. I'm so happy he's like to call him my friend. Honestly, I am so happy and honored to call him my friend. Dude is so wholesome. And his last video was 100,000 views now. Right now, all of his videos don't get under 1 million. Like, he deserves all of his success. Such a truly wholesome fellow. And even though he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, which is obviously coded terrorism.
Which I can't even process. It's so wild. I'm at 7,000 subscribers. The Patreon...
He's at 7,000 subscribers. Look at him now. Look at him now! He deserves every bit of his success. I love this man. All right, anyway.
It's going up.
Enough gooning over the gooner. Let's actually get into the SCP lore.
It means so much to me. It's really humbling, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, sincerely. So, let's go ahead, run down every single SCP-001 proposal, and as always, thank you for watching. The first proposal is Jonathan Ball's, and that is for the Sheaf of Papers. The Sheaf of Papers...
What?! This is an SCP-001, so dangerous they don't want it to be known that it even exists by the public, to the point that we don't even know if this is fact or fiction. A sheet of papers?
Papers is a stack of papers in one of the SCP facilities that is continuously writing new information across the top. It's been
okay, that's pretty fucking cool.
Observed by the Foundation staff that every time that this sheaf of papers adds a new entry to the top, that an SCP matching that description appears somewhere in the world. Now,
oh, this isn't just death by 1,000 paper cuts. This is like, it is creating anomalies. It is the ultimate anomaly creator. It is a god of entities that don't obey the world of physics. That's pretty crazy.
Now, the Foundation doesn't know if this is some form of warning and may be beneficial, or if this piece of paper is what's causing new SCPs to be formed.
Shit.
However, the theory is that what they're reading with this is the website that us, the real world writers, are compiling.
That's so cute. Oh, I love when it gets meta like that.
And every time that we make a new SCP, it gets added to the sheaf of papers and therefore put into their world. Also, I want to mention really quick why each of these proposals have a name associated with them. While several of these are the name of the original author, the in-universe explanation is that everyone in the facility who was given their proposal to write a fake SCP in order to cover up the real one did so by attaching either their name or an alias to it.
That's really interesting. So the reason why the SCP proposal specifically for 001 exists is because a lot of these are fictional, even in the SCP universe. They just don't want anyone to know what the real one is because it has too much power. I don't know. This one seems a little too innocuous. I feel like, in general, some of the SCP-001s are so dangerous and scary that I would get coming up with this. But if it was just a sheaf of papers that's just announcing SCP and paranormal activity, I could not imagine them coming up with 36 more fictional SCP-001s just to hide this one, right?
And then whichever one is the real SCP simply had someone else's name put on top of it. And even though canonically there's only supposed to be one real one, i.e. whatever one is your favorite, you can just simply assume that that's the real one.
I love the SCP universe so much because it's like the way SCPs are created, as far as I'm aware, people will write different stories about different anomalous creatures and how they're contained and their backstories and shit, and they will send them to the SCP website. Then the SCP website, based on votes, will decide if they want to make your story canon or not. So it is a multifaceted, forever growing, interdimensional, endless story. And it's so cool.
There are theories ranging from all of them are real to none of them are real. So really whatever you prefer. Next we have Dr. Gears' proposal known as the Prototype. Prototype was a 6 foot tall, grayish black creature.
That's pretty racist. Okay.
That had spikes for limbs and an eye inside of its mouth.
All right.
And seemingly no other features.
Creepy.
However, this creature did give off an amount of radioactive energy, and the theory states that, given its name the Prototype, that this creature may have been an original embodiment of what is now human.
Okay. So that's why they needed to lock this one up specifically. It's the Prototype, because, you know, it turns out, if this is the original human, then, ladies and gentlemen, people didn't come from monkeys, okay? People didn't come from monkeys. This debunks God, basically, as a canon in the SCP universe. So this changes everything. We are just planted here by some alien race. So they had to lock up SCP-001 because it really is the beginning of everything. And they don't want people to feel that way. God damn.
During containment for this creature...
Also, Prototype has no ass. Zero ass.
killed someone known as Dr. Herman Keter, and therefore, according to this theory, the reason
that's why it's called the Keter class anomalies.
That hard to contain entities are known as Keter in the SCP lore is in honor of this doctor who.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So, but think about it this way, though. If this is just a fake proposal, this SCP-001, then why is it called the Keter class? Right? They named the Keter class after Dr. Keter, who was killed by the prototype. But if the prototype isn't real, then Dr. Keter was either killed by someone else, and they wanted to fool everybody, or who knows?
Who was killed. Next, we have Dr. Kleff's proposal of the Gate Guardian.
This is one that was super highly recommended to me. Everyone told me to do deep dives into the Gate Guardian.
It's roughly 1,100 feet tall and stands at the guard of this portal, or gate as it's seen, and seen behind him is a beautiful, luscious garden.
Right, the Garden of Eden.
And this is all located between the Euphrates and the Tigris River.
All right, I see it. All right, okay. Okay, all right, okay, I see where this is going.
So, yes, the theory is that this creature is the angel that stands at guard at the Garden of Eden. Also, according to the...
That is so cool. Keter means crown in Hebrew, Nux. I am aware of that. This is English we're talking. But, yeah, this is dope. Oh, God! Okay, I have to do a specific Gate Guardian deep dive. The actual angel guarding the door of the Garden of Eden is an SCP. That's crazy.
History of...
And obviously there'll be a 001. They don't want people to know about this.
The Foundation regarding this. Years and years back, King Solomon was traveling in order to find the Garden of Eden and came across the angel who told him one word, prepare, and that was what inspired him to start the original SCP Foundation.
What? Dude, I love the canon of the SCP Foundation. So the SCP Foundation, according to the 001 proposal for the Gate Guardian, was started by King Solomon. King Solomon. Like the wisest man, created the first temple, built the first temple. That guy. He founded the SCP Foundation because of the Gate Guardian. That is so cool! I love this story. I love SCP so much. Oh, God, dude.
Obviously, because the Foundation doesn't know any better, they have attempted to kill this thing in several different ways. According to the Foundation's understanding, anything that crosses a 1 kilometer threshold within the proximity of the Gate Guardian...
I love how he's so American, he pronounces it kilometer.
He's immediately struck down by a sword he carries, which looks like the sun.
You get in a 1 kilometer radius of this man and you get blasted by the sun. Dude, this man's an angel guarding the Garden of Eden. Okay, what the fuck are you gonna do?
One time, they tried to take a D-Class and send it towards it.
No! I hate the D-Class. No!
Class was killed, and then the entire team behind him was killed. They then tried to do the same thing with a group of 100 drones, and it destroyed all the drones at once. They tried to launch a missile at it from a submarine. It destroyed the missile, and then the submarine controlling the missile. They even...
That's crazy. Literal infinite range. I am the all-range atomic. Bro can literally just destroy anything anywhere if it happens to piss him off.
Tried to send Cain and Abel to go take care of it.
What?
Controlling the missile. They even tried to send Cain and Abel...
Cain and Abel? They're canon in the SCP universe?
To go take care of it, which Cain and Abel are known SCPs, SCP-73 and SCP-76 within the canon. Abel simply collapsed and said he's not going anywhere near it, and he remembers it. And then Cain became confused, said he's not messing with it, and then the mark of Cain on his forehead began to glow. Also, one time,
pretty cool. I'll take it. It's pretty cool.
Foundation.
Big lore with them. God, I have to do the Cain and Abel SCP lores too. Shit. There is so much in this universe.
Got a message from the facility containing the Gate Guardian that this was it. It's the end times. The rapture is coming, and it's all over. They then contacted the facility to see what it was. They had no idea what they were talking about, and on reviewing the message, that message was sent from the future.
How on earth do you review it and figure that out? Signed, Hoin Kioma. Like, what are you gonna do?
So, that's promising. Next is Quantum.
Alright, well, so that's the Gate Guardian. Fuck, dude. Gate Guardian sounds insanely cool. Sounds insanely cool. I have to do a Gate Guardian deep dive.
Proposal for the lock. This SCP-01 is a beautiful black gemstone that is wrapped with a sort of golden lock fixture around it.
Okay.
It was discovered in Mesopotamia, and on the top of the rock is what appears to be a keyhole, although the key has not been discovered, and the rock is seemingly indestructible. The only hint that we get as to what
Okay, so it's just a rock with a keyhole. How is this 001?
this might be is the rock gives off very specific radio waves in fluctuations of radiation from time to time, which upon analysis match almost perfectly to the proposed theory of how our universe gives off radiation. So yes, this rock is literally our universe held in a sort of bubble.
Okay, I get why it's SCP-001. Again, not the scariest of them all. It's just a cool concept, kind of a rock, whatever. You can't destroy it. It's a little universe in a bubble. Who cares? All right, ultimately, this doesn't make sense as a 001, in my opinion. But it's pretty meta,
So probably a good thing they don't open it up. Dr. Bright's proposal of the factory.
Dr. Bright made a proposal for an SCP-001? Okay, that's crazy.
Unlike most SCP articles, the factory is not framed as a standard containment protocol for a creature. Instead, it is a story told by the first member of the O5 Council, known as the Founder. According to him, in 1835, a man by the name of James Anderson, who was some sort of occult or demon worshiper...
It's always an occult demon worshiper with these guys. Come on, guys! Can't you worship something that isn't an occult demon worshiper?
built a factory that could seemingly produce anything. This included magical hammers, super weapons, clothing that could absorb energy, and things like that that you're pretty familiar with if you already know the SCP universe.
Yeah, so it can produce anything. So are you telling me that this factory is just, it produces every anomaly? It's just a big warehouse that just churns shit out?
However, to obtain these ends, and as you would imagine what happens when a saint worshiper owns a factory, people were essentially treated like cattle, regularly killed during duty, and chained to the assembly line in order to produce these things.
So it's basically Amazon, is what he's saying. So Amazon is actually SCP-001.
At the time the Founder got here, which keep in mind this is far before the SCP Foundation formed, they went to liberate all of these people, and upon entering the sublevels of the factory, they came across these half-human amalgamations of human and
no. It's like, guys, don't worry, we have a factory, we can produce anything from hats to weapons. It's like, oh cool, what's going on in the bottom section? And, you know, and then freaking the goddamn roll out the homunculi. Like, come on, guys!
Animal and machinery, and it killed about half of his
Oh, those are the servitors. Pay no attention to them. The Adeptus Mechanicus is taking care of all that.
Team. After that, they discovered more and more rooms and cellars and locked doors down there that housed both anomalies that were alive, like the aforementioned creatures, and inanimate objects that seemed to be beneficial for some use. Anderson was killed, and then that site was referred to as Site Alpha, and was the beginning of what the Foundation would later become.
So this is where... Interesting. So it was... Imagine the SCP Foundation, except instead of being some massive government-sanctioned-ish project to contain SCPs for the sake of humanity, they are instead just trying to monetize that shit. Oh my god. They instead tried to monetize it all. That's crazy.
However, a few years after they started, these new creatures came to attack the known as fairies. And no, not like little Tinkerbell fairies.
Little Tinkerbell fairies.
More evil orc monster with axe fairy. This led to one night when the fairies raided the facility. The Founder ran all the way downstairs through every hallway he could and came across an ornate golden door with supposedly scripture of some kind written on it. After he goes through the door because he has no other option and he's being chased.
Being chased by fairies. But not any fairies. Orc goblin fairies. You know, the kind of fairies that Vosh would be into.
Finds the body of Anderson.
The guy that was killed here like dozen years ago?
Now cut in half and speaking from a very decomposed mouth.
Well, that sounds horrible. Okay.
The body of Anderson makes a deal with him. It says he will give him, as well as all the friends he has lost, immortality if they spend their existence bringing him new anomalies and creatures. And having no other option, the founder says yes. This is how the founder...
That's why the Foundation is gathering creatures. It's not to protect humanity. It's to honor a deal he made with the corpse of Anderson to keep the factory running forever. That is a good one, baby. Literally throws the whole Foundation on its head. Definitely a good proposal for 001. Damn!
And his 12 teammates became the original 05 Council, which still exists to this day, according...
And it's probably the same people, because they're all immortals. Because Father Anderson gave them immortality. They will bring him vampire scum.
Into this theory. And as per their agreement, they have spent their entire existence bringing in new creatures to the Foundation.
Amen!
In order to appease whatever Dark Lords that they gave themselves to. Dr. Mann's proposal, the Spiral Path. Now, the Spiral Path is interesting, as with, unlike these other ones, it's just like a normal SCP. It is...
Well, that's really nice to hear, honestly, because we've had a little too much lore-breaking meta shit, so this is nice. This is nice.
This is a gravel trail in the middle of the woods in Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin. Wisconsin!
That whenever it is walked one direction, it forever goes up one route until you get back to where you began and having gained no altitude. And if you walk the other direction, the exact same happens, only going downhill.
Okay, that's creepy, but that's not like world-breaking, lore-breaking, meta-defining, crazy shit. It's just classic Wisconsin people that are going on hikes while they're high.
According to this proposal, there's nothing that special about it aside from other standard SCPs. However, this was the SCP discovered by a man named Aaron Siegel that inspired him to look more into what anomalies the world holds, and this man eventually started the Foundation.
Okay.
Got an administrator by the name of Agnes, and it gets into more of the nuts and bolts of how the actual Foundation works.
Alright, this one's pretty innocuous all in all. It's a pretty regular anomaly. It's just SCP-001 because it was the first one that was registered by the Foundation. It's what started the intrigue into looking into all that shit, so alright, I respect that. That's cool.
Also, quick side note, a lot of these have these very long stories behind them. However, there's way too many for me to get into the story of everyone.
Yeah.
So I am just describing the proposal and the things itself, rather than all of the narrative behind it, so that this video isn't like 8 hours. Next is Dr.
I don't know, man. I've seen some of your videos, 8-hour-long videos. You feel okay.
Dr. McKenzie's proposal of the Legacy.
Okay.
This is technically 3 items. One is a gray box that displays the digital number 23%, and then a redacted number beneath it. The other is a key made of the same material as a gray box, which supposedly fits into the gray box. And then finally, a journal that has not seen any signs of decomposition, despite how old it supposedly is. Upon reading the journal, you find out that it is
a journal, a key, and a box that says 23%. What is this, the Rotten Tomatoes score of the Acolyte? Like, I don't understand why. Okay.
It's the journal of the fabled administrator. According to this, the administrator is from a parallel universe, but not just a standard one-to-one parallel universe. He is from several parallel universes away. From what he says, in his timeline, humanity had progressed to the point that we were harnessing energy and time in order to make weapons and material. This led to a ripple effect that was going to destroy every universe in existence. So they harnessed their last of their energy to send one man into the next universe over so that he could hopefully figure out how to stop the spread of what was coming.
Interesting. So again, it's not like this is supernatural in any way. The supernatural idea is that the founder of the SCP Foundation is here to try to protect humanity from falling down the same fate that humanity fell to in an alternate universe. It's pretty fucking cool, honestly. I like these alternate dimension SCP-001s a lot. They give you like a very Lovecraft vibe. It's 14%, 23% is very high. All right, guy, it was a joke. It was a joke, guys. Calm down.
This man became known as the administrator, and through every universe, he would start these organizations in order to better understand anomalous creatures and
SCP, secure, contain, pedophiles.
Supernatural, in order to try to figure out the secret to how to stop the eventual destruction of every universe. By this theory, the administrator's been alive for an inconceivable amount of time if he has started SCP Foundation.
He started an SCP Foundation in every parallel universe. This is literally infinite work. And that's it. It's his box and his key and his thingo, and that's it.
or thing similar in every single universe.
That's crazy.
And given the 23% on the gray box he brought with him, the universe still has some time, but it ain't getting any shorter.
So the 23% is how much time there is left until the universe just completely expires. Dude, whenever I hear about like multiple universe theories, like in fucking Marvel and shit like that, it is always so cringe. It's like, oh my god, but you're a Spider-Man from a different famous Spider-Man, and I'm a Spider-Man from the current Spider-Man. If we join forces, do you have any idea how much money we could make, Marvel? Then you have SCP, which is like, it's literally the birth child of writers. This is art, dude. This is art. Whoever made up the legacy and all this stuff, these guys didn't do it to get paid. They did it because of the passion for the craft. Literally a lost world.
Next is S. Andrew Swan's proposal of the database. This is referring to the database.
Database, you're living in a database. Whoa, whoa, the wall of pure fiction crackling in my head as the diction of the world still spreads. Sorry, I'm sorry. I sincerely apologize for breaking out in ruckus song and melody. If you recognize that song, you are based. If you don't recognize that song, you watch bad isekai anime.
According to this, the 01 slot is what's used to categorize every leaking of Foundation information that gets out of hand. For example, this could be movies that seem to reference SCPs, websites like the website itself that's used to reference SCP.
All right, a lot of the SCP-001s are just super meta, super duper meta. It's just like, this is the database. It is the SCP website, and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, all right. Who decides whether these proposals become canonized or not in the SCP universe? It's like, I could write some shitty proposal, but would that survive?
It essentially says that if the website ever reaches such big groups of popularity that people start to question the actual validity of the SCP Foundation, or if me right now makes a video about it, they will disperse memetic kill agents online, which either hearing or just seeing things will cause you to die. So, as always, my videos is putting you one day closer to death. So,
that's me, baby. That's what we all do. That's what we all do. If this video is an hour and a half long, when you started it, you will be 1 hour and a half closer to death when it ends. I mean, no offense. I'm not trying to say that I'm looking forward to your death, but I am saying that it is sooner. So you're welcome.
You're welcome. Next we have...
Oh, what was that? No, the actual brain cell sharing moment. How did you do that? Don't you dare say pre-watch. There's no way. There's no way I would have paused. Oh, god damn it, you people. You people!
Scantron's proposal of the Foundation. This is written...
Alright, that again, very super meta. The Foundation itself is the SCP-001.
As an unusual incidents unit file, which I want to make a correction on the SCP video I did previously. The UIU is not a branch of the SCP Foundation, like I said. However, given the fact that they're not privy to the fact that the Foundation exists and are not allowed to interact at the same capacity, they are much less significant than the Foundation. So this 01 proposal is the UIU's file of what the Foundation might be. This comes from an incident in which a school had anomalies appear, and then people in...
Yeah, and that anomaly was a school shooter. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Someone breaks into your average American school and it's like, oh shit, it's another anomaly.
Dude showed up and
It
took
was so anomalous when he pulled out his machine gun.
the anomalies away, and while we understand that to be the SCP Foundation, the FBI has no idea what's going on.
Wait, the FBI doesn't know that the SCP Foundation is a thing? I thought they were like, at least somewhat government sanctioned. Like I thought whenever there was some insane, massive bullshit going on in the universe, some crazy metaphysical shit starts happening, I thought the government had the SCP Foundation on speed dial. Not that they answer to the government, but I was sure the government knew about it. How did the FBI not know that the SCP is around?
So therefore, this 01 proposal is them trying to understand what the Foundation is.
That's so cool. The SCP-001 is all the information that the FBI has on the Foundation. That is really cute. Alright, I'm sorry, that's just really cute. Not gonna lie, I like that one.
Next we have Jory and Matrix's proposal of 36.
Ooh.
36 is 36 humans who have the superhuman ability of being able to stop any anomalous entity.
By the way, I know that this is gonna sound kind of crazy to you guys, but this is a Jewish concept. I'm just thinking of this right now. So in Judaism, in the Talmud, there's something that it talks about, like the 36, that there are 36 humans in every generation that are like, not that they could stop any anomaly, but that they're like the holiest people or something. I don't know. They're called the Lamed Vavniks. It's like the 36 that every generation they show up. They could be anyone. Any of us can be of these 36. So that's the lore for this. That's where this comes from. It comes from the Talmud. That's really cool. I love when they do this.
Whenever one of these 36 are introduced to another SCP, that SCP loses its anomalous ability, or if it is a creature that is of itself anomalous, it goes into a comatose state. That sounds all well and good until you figure out that every time one of these 36 people die, yes,
they get reincarnated. No way, it's gonna be exactly what the
ability is reincarnated into someone who was just born.
Dude, this is literally I cannot believe this, bro. This is why you gotta catch up on your Jewish lore, okay? Listen, I, Lord Nuxanor, have already consumed most Jew lore, okay? Jew lore, that's the bread and butter, baby. Literal bread and butter. Could the 36 take out the lizard? I don't know, man. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
But their death causes a sort of breakthrough in the fabric of our reality, and a ton of new, very dangerous SCPs show up around the place they were killed. This implies that the 36 of them exist as a sort of reality anchor, and that whenever they come in contact with something that defies the rules of reality, it creates a sort of paradox.
That's really interesting. Really, really interesting.
Therefore, the supernatural thing has to be put away. Also, supposedly, if all 36 of them come together,
it's Messiah time.
Something will happen.
Messiah time.
Though no one knows what. However, given their properties of being reality anchors, either all the SCPs may go away, or all the SCPs may show up.
One or the other. It's a coin toss. All right. This is what we're gonna do. When the 36 epic guys get together, heads, it brings the Messiah. Tails, all the SCPs show up and destroy the world. We good! All right, let's do best of 3.
Next is Roget's proposal of Ker Duty.
Ker Duty! There are a lot. It's true. There are really a lot of them based on different bits of Jewish lore. Like Keter does mean crowd in Hebrew. Really interesting. Honestly, I like that 36 one. I didn't... it took me a while to think about it, because I always... whenever I, think of that 36 concept in the Talmud or whatever, I'm always thinking of it in Hebrew. I don't think about Jewish lore in English. So, whenever someone says something like this in English, it takes me a second to, actually translate it in my own head.
According to this 01 proposal, there is a facility known as
SCP-001, Jews. Known to circumcise their young.
Olympia, located...
They have collected all the money in the world and control the banks. Okay, dude. All right. Actually, by the way, I'll let you know right now, I had a dream last night that I got a community guideline strike for saying, a conspiracy theory sarcastically. I got a copyright strike for misinformation. That was literally my dream last night. I woke up and drastically reached for my YouTube studio to make sure that that didn't happen. Okay, I am paranoid that my sarcasm is just going to be a layer too powerful.
In Greece, which is the site that every single Keter entity that has ever existed has come from. Not only that, but according to this,
so a lot of people actually did tell me to specifically look into Ker Duty.
The reason Keters are the way that they are isn't because of their containment procedures, it's because that is the designation given to one of these creatures from Olympia.
Okay, so Keter is not... So, as far as we understand, there are a bunch of different classifications for how dangerous these anomalies are and how hard they are to contain. Keter, these are some of the extremely mega dangerous, hard to contain anomalies. But this theory is the public thinks that Keter is used for things that are just generically hard to contain, when in fact, Keter is where they all come from.
According to this, whenever two of these Keter entities interact with each other, the universe gets a little wonky. And
yeah, oh shit, this one's crazy. I have to do a deep dive on Ker Duty.
supposedly, if all the Keter entities were to come together, it would open up the gateway for our
Not interdimensional Satan!
our favorite giant red demon, the Scarlet King,
Sounds to me like that's interdimensional Satan.
to come through. Next,
Yeah, he's definitely showing up later on in this video. Scarlet King's goated. I love that guy. If not for the Dark Moon, Dark Moon, Black Moon, Black Moon, Dark Moon? Black Moon. Black Moon is my favorite. I'd say my second favorite is the Scarlet King. Ah, dude, I love the Scarlet King. What a cool character. It's also really interesting because the Scarlet King is, you know me and my interest in power scaling. The Scarlet King is like one of the only things in the SCP universe that I know of that's like actually up there in power scaling with like Lovecraftian gods. Like, holy shit.
next is DJ Cactus and Twisted Gears proposal of
Alright.
the Ouroboros cycle.
Ouroboros cycle. I started this one. I did the Church of the Broken God, which is the beginning of the Ouroboros cycle. People told me that this one is a super long, super complicated, and really interesting one.
One is literally too long to get into. It's
All right, well, he's okay.
like a full novel-length story.
Novel-length story. Holy shit.
Shortest version I can, it's divided into 4 parts. These 4 parts contain a group of 9 children given anomalous properties in order to stop whatever evil monsters coming next. The Church of the Broken God assembling their god, and so on and so forth. It's very confusing, but essentially a giant time loop is occurring, and we are seeing the final days of it. Next, we have Kate.
We're at the end. Okay. Again, I got nothing from that. I need to do an Ouroboros cycle deep dive at some point. That's definitely high on the list for shit that I gotta do. Lord Nuxanor, get on this. You did a 3-hour deep dive on the Emperor of Mankind yesterday. You could get through the Ouroboros cycle.
Kate McTires.
That has been my white whale for like the last 2 months. Doing a full deep dive on the Emperor. I'm so happy we actually finished it yesterday. Like, literally.
His proposal of a record. This describes a record that whenever
It is the angel with the pointiest boob. Okay, editor, cut that out.
given to someone to put into a list, the record will always appear at the top of the list regardless of its actual placement. So,
Okay, alright. That's cool if you want to cheat on an exam, but like...
for example, if you were to send it to a Billboard chart in order to rank, they would always put it at number 1. Doesn't really match the description for what an 01 proposal should be if it's these great overarching things that have to be contained or explain the entire universe itself, and that's what Mary Nakayama thought. Mary Nakayama was a researcher who figured that something was weird about this entry, so she did a test. She said,
What's weird? Why is this any weirder than some of the other entries? Like, this is just... Okay, so it goes to the top. Alright, so it's an anomaly, sure. But, like, this isn't game-changing, human-defining, foundation-evolving, meta shit. This is just... Okay, cute.
But in there, everyone has to give Mary $5 during lunch break today. If they can, she saved it, and then sure enough, everyone did. She then did the same thing by saying she gets paid vacation, and sure enough, it happened. Turns out, the reason SCP-001 is something so innocuous is whatever you put as the description in 001 will come to be. So
Someone has to show this to Trump. It'll explain how he lost the last election.
Mary did the natural thing and proclaimed herself to be a god of all of time and the universe at once, to which she then disappeared and no one knows what happened. So maybe
That is so sick. It's something that it was thought to just put things at the top of the list every time. But eventually you recognize that whatever it says becomes the new reality. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that deserves to be an SCP-001 actually. You never know. You know, honestly, I give it to after some thought, I've decided.
maybe she is a god out there. Who knows?
Bro, she just wrote, I'm a god, and bloop, disappeared. She's probably a god now, somewhere, and doesn't want to deal with us pathetic mortals. But, like, that is scary. Dude, this is Death Note on crack. This is if Adventure Time wrote Death Note.
Therefore, SCP-001 is the actual entry of 001, and whatever is written there becomes true.
That is so cool! And of course it ends with the ultimate meta. You know how there's 37 different SCP-001 proposals? Well, whichever one is written is true, because this dictates reality. The record dictates what is real. Sheesh! Sheesh, that's really freaking cool. God damn.
Next, we have Kalinen's proposal of past and future. This story opens up with 05 member number 2 going to see SCP-411. 411 tells the 05 member that there is coming a sort of end of days and that it's the final times of planet Earth. What spurred this was SCP-2788, which is a giant ring of protection around the Earth.
What? We have a giant ring of protection around the Earth as an SCP? Alright, cool, I guess.
That is invisible to the human eye being destroyed. According to this, there are these entities out
It's called the ozone layer, and it's all because Rayquaza got pissed that Groudon and Kyogre were being bitches.
Space that we can't identify, but what we do know is they hate humanity, because every time that they...
Classic Xenos, am I right? This is why they should be purged. This is why I will not stand down until the filthy heretic Xenos are purged. For the Emperor!
In a transmission to Earth, new Keter entities appear. And given the destruction of the Earth's barrier, these things are getting more...
Only good Xeno is a dead Xeno! Goddamn. Warhammer is making all of us more racist. This is not good.
More powerful. So essentially the 01 proposal here is that these creatures out in space are slowly causing the inevitable destruction of Earth. Next we have Wrong's proposal.
Dude, I have to do a SCP-001. The Emperor of Mankind. Listen, we are only here simply sitting around in the third millennia, okay? We're in the third millennia, baby. We don't even thinking about what's gonna be happening in, 37,000 years. I'm just saying, the Emperor's probably around right now. Who knows? Who knows? He's probably Mr. Beast.
Of the consensus. According to this, history as we know it has been rewritten by 13 people, those 13 people being the 05 committee. Okay. According to their true story, something happened called the Fifth Occult War that caused a reset of all of human history. But
wait, so in this consensus theory, humans' history is just very, very different, and all the religions and all the backstories of all the different races and nations was made up somehow to hide some sort of void century? Are you saying that the history of One Piece is in SCP-001?
Even given this, they have varying accounts of what actually happened and how things used to be, so the consensus may exist as a distraction from whatever really is going on, or if the consensus is true, it's unlikely the 05 will actually ever say what exactly happened. Next is SD Locke's proposal.
This one is fucked up. Alright, so this is one of the 3 SCP-001s that I actually did do. I did look into When Day Breaks, Scarlet King, and Black Moon. This one is fucked up.
Of When Day Breaks. When Day Breaks feels more like a traditional SCP. The story is told...
Yeah, traditional apocalypse, you mean?
More so in the form of a tale. Essentially, this follows an alternate timeline in which the sun...
Alternate or future?
For whatever reason, became evil. Whatever sunlight touches...
Why would he describe it like that? The sun became evil. No! It sounds so wrong.
Immediately forms into this disgusting...
gelatinous, melted ball of shit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It radiations everything.
Blob creature.
Yeah.
It's described that people melt and then become putty and then join with other melted entities and
become giant sludge roaming, limb crumbling, bone melting pieces of waltzing, hungry, cannibalistic shit. Yeah.
These giant...
When Day Breaks makes the Berserk look like kindergarten recess.
Thing like Cronenberg monsters begin to form.
Yeah, basically, kind of like the Cronenbergs, like from Rick and Morty. Everyone becomes these gelatinous, bony, fleshy, putty monsters.
So no one can touch the sunlight for any reason, and if you think you're safe to move at night, the moon is reflected sunlight, so no cigar. To give you an idea of how...
You're cooked. You are literally cooked, brother. Literally cooked. The moon reflects the sun. So all we have to do is destroy the moon without seeing it, of course.
Brutal this is. The story follows a group of researchers stuck in an SCP facility who they managed to convince a D class to try to lead one of these blob monsters away from their front door. As the blob monster grabs his foot and begins to pull him in, the D class shoots himself so he won't be turned into one of these things.
At least not alive. His bioorganic flesh is still going to be consumed and moved around and utilized by the blob monsters for eternity because they are immortal blob monsters. But at least he'll be dead. Hey, Flows, thanks for the raid.
To which the blob monster pours inside of his suit, rips his body out, brings him back to life just to melt him and then join him. So
I didn't remember that. Oh my god. They resurrected him from the dead just to make him in eternal suffering as part of the hive mind blob. Bro, that's fucked up. Fucked up.
So they literally won't let you die. The rest of the story follows the sole survivor of this group as they try to make it to Site 19, which is supposedly humanity's last safe hold. I don't want to spoil the ending though, as I encourage you to read this one for you.
Yeah, the ending is wildly cool. Wildly cool. Again, also, I won't spoil here either, I guess. But yeah, this is the lore deep dive and all the SCP-001s. Don't expect this to be full coverage of each of them. This is just a taste. You know how I've been doing it, like with Warhammer? First I covered all the factions, then I covered all the Space Marine Legions, then I'm covering all the individual Primarchs. We break it down little by little, baby.
Yourself. Next we have Spike Brennan's proposal of God's blind spot.
That is such a crazy name. What does that even mean?
According to this, in the middle of Sinai, there is an area completely devoid of Akiva radiation. Akiva radiation, as described by this
Akiva radiation? Akiva, like the Jewish name Akiva?
proposal, is ambient radiation that exists anywhere that God also exists.
Huh? What does that even mean? God exists everywhere. That's kind of the point of God. God is everywhere. He surrounds the world, and he fills the world.
Or
everything is God.
Death itself, or life, or whatever have you. What this means is, no one inside of this given area in the Middle East can die. Or at least...
Oh. It's actually God's blind spot in this canon. This is the only place in all of reality without God. Wow, dude, that is a crazy idea. Okay, let's see how this plays out, but that's a wild concept.
By natural means, because of course the Foundation kept testing this by like cutting people's limbs off and they lived.
Based.
So then they eventually ran someone through an incinerator and they died. According to this story.
It's like, yes, they're all immortal. What if we incinerate them? And then they just die. They're like, oh, well, I guess, well, you know.
The O5 Council has set up their base there, and the reason all of them are presumed to be immortal is because they're simply staying in an area in which no one is allowed to die.
That's cool. All right, that's a cool idea.
Or even age, for that matter. The justification for the story comes from Exodus chapter 4, in which it said God sought to kill Moses. According to this whole overarching story, the fact that God could not kill him implies that Moses was in a place to which God could not kill him.
That is such a terrible translation of that verse. Oh my god. What?
Therefore, as noted by historians who came before, such as Napoleon, this location is God's blind spot. Next is WJS's proposal of normalcy.
Wait, so, what's his name? Napoleon found this place and thought that... So, for those of you that are probably curious about, like, what actually happened there in that Bible passage, it's not like God sought to kill Moses, but Moses was in the blind spot. It was like God was gonna kill Moses, but Moses redeemed. Like, he repented, okay? Moses lived because God, you know, forgave him because he repented. Something like that. Not that necessarily he was guilty of anything, more that he was, whatever. This is a bit of a debate between Christianity and Judaism, but, yeah, not that it, like, he beat the allegations. No. Oh, God. Yeah, well, anyway.
This is...
Also, God did kill Moses. It should be noted. Like, Moses is dead. This is not a debated fact. Maybe not right then, but he passed the vibe check for now. But, you know.
Exactly what it says. SCP-001 is simply a definition of what normal is, and therefore what every anomaly isn't. It then goes into one of the O5 members talking about the importance of normalcy, and why, despite the damage that an SCP may or may not cause, why it's so important to protect the world from things that the world can't explain. Next is Bill's proposal of...
Alright, that one's just pretty basic SCP-001. I'm noticing a lot of connections between a lot of the SCP-001s. There's this place or this book or this thing that's just, it's the beginning of everything. It is the SCP Foundation. Ooga booga booga.
Of the world at large. This one starts off with a group receiving a very...
The world at large? You mean Holy Terra?
Odd transmission of way out in space there seems to be some anomaly showing signs of life.
Filthy Xenos!
We eventually find out that we are reading this from the perspective of a separate entity, supposedly some energy being that doesn't exist the same way that we think existence to occur.
What?
And this anomaly that they're referring to is Earth.
Okay, I'm very confused. What?
Since it is so weird that a planet can support a carbon-based life form, the anomaly or the original anomaly is our existence itself.
Okay, that's actually really fucking cool. That is actually kind of cool. See, but again, it fits into that whole idea that most 001s are just like, we are the anomaly! The anomaly is the SCP Foundation! It is the father of all anomalies! Instead of like specific ones. But that's really cool, right? Think about it. We've seen so... In a universe as big as ours, how is it that we haven't found other carbon-based life anywhere? We haven't found them. They haven't found us. Where are the aliens? There's no evidence to aliens. What is going on? Now, there are either two answers. One, we are gay. Two, we are an anomaly. That's really interesting. All right, let's keep going. Or we just can't explore very far. We just didn't find them yet because it's a really big fucking universe and stuff like that. Yeah, I like this idea. This is a cool concept that we are an anomaly.
Next is Tanhoney's proposal of...
Honestly, I vibe with the concept that Xenos would find us absurd and terrifying and avoid us at all costs. So there is this whole story. As you know, I'm doing the Warhammer dive. There's a story of someone from the Tau Empire found a really ancient dreadnought tank from humanity. A 6,000-year-old dreadnought. When the Tau Empire is only a 4,000-year-old race right now. So they found this dreadnought, and the human in the dreadnought was still like sort of alive and talking about wiping them out and shit. And it terrified them not only because it wants them dead and because it's so powerful, but it terrified the Tau because they saw a war machine older than their entire species' existence. Humanity has been at war for longer than the Tau have existed as a species. And that is terrifying.
Dead men. This one's a really good...
Dead men? Alright.
Read. The actual 01 itself is an old man who was discovered during an occult ritual whose body had been permanently fused with death itself.
Very old man. It's like permanently fused with death itself. That's pretty badass. Yes, I have cancer. It's like, no! The
O5 committee used this to their advantage, to which they took this old man to the facility and used amnestics to remove all memory of the O5's faces. What this means is that because death does not...
Oh, shit, that's pretty cool. Okay, so because that's why the O5 Council are immortal, because death doesn't remember them.
Not recognize the O5 can never die. This story also gets into something rarely mentioned in the SCP lore, and that is the Ethics Committee. Now, the Ethics Committee...
You know why it's rarely mentioned in the SCP lore? It's because there are no ethics in the SCP Foundation. Ethics are for pussies and governments.
Is pretty much a joke. A group of people who make sure that the organization that runs people through a meat grinder for fun stays ethical.
Yeah, we want to be ethical. We make sure that you only take D-class personnel and put them to their deaths. Yes. We feed human beings to giant lizards just to see how quickly they would get nommed on. But ethically.
However, according to this, the administrator created the Ethics Committee in order to keep an eye on the O5 Council. The Ethics Committee views this action of making themselves immortal as too immoral, and therefore...
That's the line! That's the line! Bro! The Ethics Committee are just trying to make sure Slanesh doesn't take over the universe. Dude! That's the line for the Ethics Committee. It's like, alright, putting people into wood chippers, sure. Meat grinders, sure. Melting humans, alright. Destroying alternate realities, fine. Destroying other planets, cool. containing other species, whatever. Becoming immortal? Oh, no.
Plan is hatched in which the Ethics Committee group of soldiers known as Law's Left Hand goes against the O5's Red Right Hand, to
That's pretty cool.
which eventually the Ethics Committee leader makes Death itself look at all of the O5 members' faces. The Ethics Committee man shoots himself while Death is watching, therefore assuring he dies and the O5 can't bring him back to torture him. Then the story ends with our new member of the O5 Council, Dr. Gears.
That is so sick, dude! I love it. Wow, what a wild story.
Figuring out that shortly after this happened, all of the O5 died of natural causes.
How does that fit into the story? So the question is, did he kill him on purpose? Did he kill him for nothing? Or did they all die of natural causes because Death remembered them?
Next is Lily's
That's a really good one. That's a really, really good one. I like that a lot.
proposal for The World's Gone Beautiful. This one's very simple.
A lot of people also told me to check this one out.
24 hours before the world is destroyed by whatever supernatural entity occurs, there is going to be these flowers and birds and natural beauty that blooms all over the world at once. This
Wow, okay. So it's Hell's Paradise vibes.
blooming is SCP-001, and it is in no way related to the causation of whatever destroys the world. It's simply a warning and a time of peace that can occur before the world ends.
For 24 hours! Come on!
Procedures if 01 happens in this
Fucking not before the Elden Ring DLC drops. Bro, we got 2 more days until the Elden Ring DLC drops. If the world goes beautiful today, I am literally losing my shit.
scenario is to simply let out every entity that won't hurt people, let everyone leave, and spend their last day however they wish.
That's kind of beautiful in some really sick, perverted, tragic way. The anomaly is that 24 hours before an apocalypse, everyone will be at peace. It's kind of fucked up if you think about it.
Next is Tough Toes.
It goes to say how difficult it is for humans to actually get along, right?
Proposal of the Scarlet King. Scarlet King, like the
All right, this one's my favorite. This is my second favorite after the Black Moon. This one is so cool. Interdimensional Space Satan.
Ouroboros cycle, is a really long one that I'm not going
Did you see that Miyazaki lied about the size of the Elden Ring DLC? It's much larger than he said. Let's go! That's why Miyazaki's the GOAT, all right? This man does not overpromise.
to get into now. The shorter version is that the Scarlet King is an entity that is
Interdimensional Satan.
seen and mentioned throughout the entire SCP canon. According to this, the Foundation eventually discovers
See, in my mindset, in my grind set, in my perspective of the SCP Foundation, if only one SCP-001 could be real, this one. This is the one. It just has too many connections to different stories in the SCP Foundation. It's 7 children or whatever, 9 children, and whatever, and the strings that it pulls and the connections that it has. I just feel like this one is easily the most impactful of all of them.
what the deal with him is. Anytime that a group on Earth has ever tried to assert their dominance or to create these overarching groups such as empires or governments or
Have you ever wondered why the greatest empires throughout history have all fallen? Have you wondered why you didn't have just some incredible tyrannical ruler with an incredibly powerful military that just remained in power for a very long time? Well, the Scarlet King, he's your friend, he's your foe. He does not want any form of order to exist in the world. Goddamn. Bro makes corn look like a puppy.
what have you. The Scarlet King gets more powerful through the tyranny of man. Because of this, the Foundation itself, trying to assert dominance, even if it is unknown to the public across the entire world,
Oh, shit.
is making the Scarlet King more powerful.
I didn't even think of that either, but oh, God. Oh, Lord.
Therefore, this SCP-01 is a antithesis of the Foundation itself, because every time they discover more about the world and contain it, they are building up to the inevitable apocalypse that they themselves are creating.
That is so fucked up. The ultimate catch-22, right? As long as they keep containing anomalies, the Scarlet King is getting stronger to wipe them out. But if they don't contain the anomalies are just going to destroy the world. Literally stuck between a rock and a hard place, knowing that the Scarlet King is inevitable. Also, I love the idea that like SCP-682, the indestructible lizard, is potentially one of the SCP's children. So is the tickle monster, the wholesome 999 guy that can make other people happy and shit. Like, what a cool character with so many different tendrils and connections in the world. This guy, in my mind, he's the bad guy of the SCP universe.
In the last video I did, I talked about 231 and Operation Montauk and a bunch of more stuff describing the Scarlet King that I won't get into here, but if you're interested, check that out, and I may make a whole video about him in the future.
Yeah, it's crazy. That guy's so cool. So cool. All right. Well, anyway, I did a full lore dive specifically on the Scarlet King. You can check that one out if you want. But, yeah, that was a good one.
Next is Jim North's proposal of a simple toy maker. This is in reference to Dr. Wondertainment, which, if you're familiar with SCP, you'll know several items and even people seem to be products of Dr. Wondertainment himself.
Huh?
Or herself. The story changes every time you read it. Upon reading this file, you discover that Dr. Wondertainment wrote this himself by hyping up the details and making him...
He wrote his own SCP-001 proposal? Okay, chat's going crazy about this guy. What? Should I do a deep dive on this guy specifically?
...himself to be mysterious in some ways and kind of silly in others. It's another layer to the fact that no one really understands what Dr. Wondertainment's motives are and why he keeps making these anomalous SCPs. Next is I.H. Pickman's proposal, Story of Your Life. This is probably the most...
It's my life!
...cleverly written one in the entire thing. SCP-001 is an acknowledgement to the fact that this universe exists within a given story. Therefore,
the ultimate meta fourth wall breaking concept. Every time.
For something they constantly have to be afraid of is story tropes making their way out.
Oh, that's crazy! The story of your life, it's an SCP, where everyone in this universe knows that it is inevitable that eventually Disney will buy the rights to the SCP Foundation. Eventually Disney will take over and destroy them. They know that their story might just devolve into tropes and tragedies based on the writer's whims. They are merely tools living in some sort of simulation, playthings created by us. Human beings that are writing the SCP Foundation. We are the eldritch gods of the SCP world. That the greater will of Disney will take over and make SCP lame and gay. Wow, dude, what a crazy theory.
To contain these tropes, they essentially have to be thrown all into a story at once, or something known as narrative lampshading, which is whenever
that's awesome. That is so funny.
In a story they directly point out the ridiculousness of something that's happened, and supposedly that makes it okay. Therefore, this 001 entry is simply a fake story that was made up in order to contain all of the bad writing tropes that may exist somewhere else in the SCP lore. Next,
that's really cute. I like that one. That one's cute. All right. A good boy.
we have the Great Hippo featuring Pepper's ghost proposal, a good boy. This
good boy, a good boy. Okay, what the fuck is good boy gonna end up becoming?
SCP-001 is a computer that the Foundation themselves created. The purpose of this computer was to use a sort of predictive text pattern to analyze all of the information brought in about previous SCPs in order to determine where new ones would come up.
Okay, so it's basically a dowsing machine for SCPs. Alright, that's not so bad. It's pretty cool.
Then they decided to use it to determine how to best contain and neutralize these beings.
Alright, cool. Alright, it's a really powerful AI. It's an AI specifically based on anomalies. That's pretty helpful, right? You want to be able to contain big fucking lizard that's gonna destroy the world? Hell yeah, dog. Hell yeah. He's a good boy. You're a good boy.
However, the computer...
He said, however, shit's about to hit the fan, isn't it?
...kind of got carried away with the neutralized part. See, it...
Uh-oh, This is every AI story starts off with such a good boy.
Didn't really understand, like, ethics or morality in any regard.
And then the Great Rift began. The Dark Age of Technology. The Imperium was shattered throughout the stars.
So all it kept suggesting was the most brutal ways to torture and kill people.
Hey, we want to know how to contain. Oh, easy. Have you tried bear traps? I want to stop my son from shitting on the curtains. Yeah, have you tried bear traps?
Because it might do something. It referred to everyone in the Foundation who helped the Foundation as good boys. And then
that's why it's called the good boy. Because he would call them, you're a good boy, for listening to my crazy will.
It started suggesting that they kill everyone that wasn't a good boy.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, listen. Only good Xeno's a dead Xeno.
If a doctor had a moral problem with what the computer suggested, they should kill them.
But it's immoral to put bear traps in my living room so my child doesn't pull on the curtains. He's a bad boy! Exterminate him!
This leads to the entire O5 council telling the computer that they are good boys and should be left alone. Some of the things the computer suggested was everyone cover yourselves in green foam and stand in T posing around 106 and that will disable it.
What?
Another is that they take every Coke product off of shelves and
honestly, based. Holy shit. This guy, dude, based.
Put the blood of virgins into each can.
Less based. I mean, I like the take off the, you know, honestly, I take it back. Now, after considering it, after really giving this, like, thought and consideration, I've decided that this is, in fact, not based at all. Not based.
When asked why, the computer didn't know. And then it kept suggesting...
Sounds like ChatGPT, though. You know, like, ChatGPT will give you some bullshit, crazy, cockamamie advice, and you'll be like, oh, why? And they'll be like, I don't know, now that you mentioned it.
Suggesting that they need to capture cats and then place their organs around the facility, which once again, when asked why...
The classic ChatGPT shenanigans.
The computer didn't know. What's funny is they still leave this thing on, they just don't take advice from it.
They just leave it there. They're like, okay, the computer's not actually hurting anyone. It's just a little fucking insane. We'll just leave it here.
So somewhere in one of the sites is a computer that just keeps printing off the words kill, kill, kill. Next is the combined...
Alright, honestly, that one's not so scary. That's not so scary. It's just a troll AI, bro. Alright.
Writing project of Wisehog, the Deadly Moose, Drewbear, and Daxanote, known as Project Palisade. This is a long story, but the short rundown of it is that there is a being out there in the universe that supposedly the Foundation created, known as the worm. The worm gets its power essentially by slowly feeding off of universes. To combat this and to combat our universe from being destroyed, the Foundation built several parallel universes in order to try to stay out of the worm's range.
So the Foundation creates a worm that's so to protect the Foundation, but it's so dangerous to put them at risk, so they created alternate universes so that their own creation, the worm, doesn't eat them. Dune style.
This says that, therefore, every single parallel universe we hear about in the SCP world
are created by the SCP Foundation.
is a direct creation of the Foundation.
That's actually a really good one. I like this theory. This is really throwing the whole multiverse trope on its head, right? Like, the whole idea of a multiverse is that we are insignificant, right? It's ultimately a super nihilistic theory. It's like, it explains everything. How did the freaking Big Bang happen? It's so infinitesimally unlikely. Well, the Big Bang could have happened because anything that could happen happens in some reality. That's the many worlds theory. So we just happen to be living in one of the universes that the Big Bang happened. And now there's infinite universes for every possible choice that could have possibly happened. Every possible reality exists in some alternate reality. It's this ultimate nihilistic trope that just makes you feel like, oh, so I'm basically incredibly unimportant, right? Like, that's the whole idea, the Rick and Morty business, right? So, Project Palisade takes that, throws it on its head. No, we created the alternate universes. It's not nihilism. It's the anti-nihilism reality, right?
Themselves. If you remember in the SCP Iceberg video I did, I talked about the White Queen and how that's a tail on the Black Queen.
Okay, I have to do his SCP Iceberg video, I think. All right, that's gonna be on the list. You made it to the list. 10,000 likes, and I'll do Wendigoon's Iceberg SCP video.
Well, the Black Queen is one of the main characters in this story that is used in order to create these branching narratives. However, at the end, it's mentioned that if this thing does like consume realities and get powerful, maybe making more realities was a bad idea.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way, but ultimately, it is interesting. But what's so cool is I wonder if the people in these alternate universes, do they know that they were created? Because realistically, they probably created alternate universes to keep the worm away from them. So maybe it is like, it's a complete cycle. Like, we are the main characters, we created all these alternate universes, but what if we are one of the alternate universe that was created by another universe, right? Like, you get into really mindfuck theories. I like this one, Project Palisade.
Next, we have Captain Kirby's proposal of 0513.
Captain Kirby? Welcome to SCP-001, kid. We've got Day Broke, Gate Guardian, and 513. What did 513 do? He, emergency stage 3, containment breach, reticle activated nuclear warhead detonating 5... Okay, what?
This is in reference to 0513, 13th member of the 05 Council.
Oh,
this entire story
nice.
is framed around the fact that the first 12 members of the 05 Council died, everyone except for 13, and it follows the new 1 through 12 trying to figure out if 13 may be responsible.
That's an interesting theory. I like that theory.
This is because something referred to as a Caesar event happened, and no one knows what happened to the original 05 Council.
So you have the 05 Council. The 05 Council are immortals that have been around for this whole time, right? Actual immortals. But they're all dead now. All right, well, that's weird. Okay, the whole 05 Council is dead, except for one guy. So they make a new 05 Council. They get 12 new people in the 05 Council. But why is the 13th still alive? What killed these other 12 immortals? And it's the mystery that is this SCP. This SCP-001 is the mystery behind what happened to the original 12 immortals.
It's then revealed at the end of the story that the administrator is talking directly to 13 and telling him to keep his head cool, as he doesn't want to reveal what actually happened. We then find out what actually happened.
Okay, all right.
Which is the original founder became upset with how the other 11 members were running their jobs, everyone except for 13. So he sends 13 away as he brings in the members 1 through 12 and detonates a nuclear warhead, destroying the 05 Council.
Oh. Well. Wait, so the administrator's still around. So he wiped out the 11 people in the 05 Council that he didn't like. Bro, this is a whole ass situation over here.
Next we have Pedantic's proposal of Fishhook. Fishhook is written as a first-person memetic purgatory. What does that mean? Well, as you click on the story, it turns into a sort of ARG where you are experiencing first person that you are a researcher who tried to figure out what 01 was. You're then thrown into a locked room where you're supposedly in there for years as they come to you every day and ask why you wanted to look at 01.
Wait, so you are an ARG in the Fishhook one? That's pretty cool.
You then wake up back at your desk, none of it happened, and it turns out that whenever you go to search 01, you are placed into this endless cycle until you've learned your lesson and decide to not look into 01.
Yo! That's like how Kabuto became a good guy in Naruto. For those of you that are unaware with Naruto lore, first of all, catch the fuck up, okay? Naruto's goated, alright? In Naruto lore, Kabuto gets trapped in a genjutsu, a mindfuck situation, where he's forced to relive an endless fight against Itachi. An endless fight until he realizes that he should not be fighting anymore, and he's fighting for the wrong side of the force. So Kabuto ends up in this crazy situation where he's fighting for eternity. Thousands of years in his own mind, he's fighting with Itachi in eternal conflict until he realizes the error of his ways and decides, you know what? The good guys are actually right. So that happens to Kabuto, and that is the Fishhook. Anyone that looks into the SCP-001, instead of slapping him on the ass and telling him that, no, sir, you can't do that, he just decided instead that, no, the best way to teach them is to trap them in an endless mindfuck genjutsu loop until they realize that, yeah, I don't actually want to know what the SCP-001 is.
If nothing else, then this would serve as a ghost story in order to dissuade other people from trying to figure out what the real 01 is.
That's cool, I like this one.
Next is Not a Seagull's proposal of the sky above the port. 5 kilometers south of Babylon, there is a cave, and inside it are 2 entities. One of them is a giant floating ball that resembles TV static.
A giant floating ball of TV static. Ooh. I know I'm making a joke, but this is going to end up mind-fucking me completely.
And the other is a sort of shadow that sits by the wall and looks at the ball. These 2 entities are supposedly old gods that may be responsible for the creation of the world, and the only thing that satiates them from destroying the world is to be entertained. Throughout history...
Oh my god, dude! The sky above the port is a Matrix proposal, that we are just playthings to these bored gods that just want to witness our suffering. Okay, that's pretty... Yeah, I could definitely see that being a solid 001 proposal.
Groups such as the Order of the Black and White and Zoroastrian monks have made it their goal to continuously entertain this creature. So now it's the...
Yeah, right? Because if the monks aren't there dancing for these creatures to enjoy, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna be like, alright, let's make a tsunami happen here. Ooh, look at the little people running and scuttling away! You know? Like, obviously they want to keep entertaining him forever. Because if they don't entertain him, well...
Foundation's turn. They originally decided to try to read it fake stories, but it gets upset as the thing only likes true, thought-out stories.
I mean, listen, you're gonna tell him some fake stories. It's a god. He's gonna pull it apart. It wants to see dance monkey, dance monkey, dance monkey. Oh. It wants to see you dance, baby.
It's then said that the Foundation began making up SCP entries in order to let it read them, and this satisfied it for a while. Eventually, they figure out what to do. They let this creature read its own 01 file that forever loops on itself.
That's pretty cool. I love that. See, that's why the SCP Foundation is such a cool concept. Like, as far as fictional entities go, I love the SCP Foundation because they'll find loopholes and different, like, crazy paradoxical situations.
And sure enough, as you're there reading it on the website, there is always an attachment file that you can open that simply reopens the top, and
oh god, I love that!
The file goes on forever. So supposedly this worked in satiating this creature. However, the thing I mentioned about fake entries being made up implies that several of the SCP creatures that we know of may just be fakes in order to satisfy this old world god.
Alright, sure.
Next we have Meta Ike's proposal of the solution.
Oh god, no solutions ever sound good. It's like, I have a solution. Execute Order 66. You know what I'm saying? Solutions don't ever sound good. Look, as much as I don't like problems, but the solution just sounds too absolute.
Solution was a device.
And Jedi don't deal in absolutes. God, I have to stop quoting Star Wars. Holy shit. This is the issue with my lore dives, okay? I must consume all lore. I am literally lore diving so hard. So hard. It's crazy. God, it takes over the brain. I start talking in Elden Ring voices, long and hard. I started saying that to people.
That was created in order to reset reality if ever needed. This was created by the Foundation, reason for it being with so many...
See, this is exactly what I mean. Exactly what I mean. The solution, resetting humanity. The solution is never, buying bug spray, okay? The solution is never, have you considered putting a double knot in your shoelaces so they don't unravel? No one calls that a solution. The solution is just a little too final every time.
World-ending creatures that you have, if any of them were about to totally wipe out humanity, it would be better to reset timeline to before it happened, and you could fill in the blanks. However, this device began to show signs of sentience, and that really scared the Foundation, so they tried to reboot it, and whenever they did, the device went ahead and started remaking reality itself. However, because...
Nice. Remaking reality. Classic. You know why? Because humanity's time here, it's been long and hard, as they say. I will devour the very gods.
Because no one entered in the rest of the information before it reset reality, there were several missing gaps, and that is the reality we currently exist in.
Listen, I know that I'm making fun of the solution title, because obviously that's a terrible title, but that is a really interesting idea, right? We are currently experiencing a reality with gaps in reality that are missing, because the solution was the ultimate SCP-001. Humanity somehow fucked up so badly they reset humanity, except they didn't reset it with all the info. So we are currently living in a second run of humanity with gaps in the reality because the solution didn't have all the info.
The reason we don't know where humanity came from or why so many anomalies exist is
because we're on the second playthrough. We're on New Game Plus.
It's because of these missing gaps that this computer left in.
I really like this theory. This is a really, really fucking good theory for an SCP-001. Like an idea for a bait. I feel like this is such an interesting concept. This could be the basis of an entire science fiction world.
Next we have Norbox's proposal of the Tindalos Trinity.
Alright, so this Tindalos Trinity is obviously going to be based off of The Hound of Tindalos by Lovecraft. How these hounds can turn corners of space-time to hunt you and attack you, especially if you're a time traveler. Wishful Thunker with another 5 gifted subs! Holy macaroni! Thank you. Yeah, but anyway, I actually recently covered this in my Lovecraft lore deep dive, so I'm all into this. You know, I'm consuming all the lore. All the lore will be consumed. We've already done Lovecraft. Working on a main channel Lovecraft video.
The story opens where we get 3 slightly different explanations of what seems to be the same events. It describes SCP-001 as
I love how he put the little image over his face by accident instead of putting it in the corner. Dude, this is when Wendigoon had 7,000 subs. That's crazy.
a sort of ghost shadow figure that moves through walls at any given rate. What we're actually seeing is the point of view of 3 different timelines, with each one watching their reality slowly bend towards another.
Yep. Hound of Tindalos. It's a Lovecraftian monster that chases especially time travelers or people in worlds that have somehow been time manipulated in some way, and they will jump out of angles of space-time to hunt you down. This is why Lovecraft horrors are scary as shit. Lovecraft horrors are so scary because, like, this is the idea of an unstoppable stalker. Like, can you imagine being stalked, but by a space-time dog monster entity that'll jump out of space-time to eat your balls? Like, that's freaky as shit.
And these humanoid creatures they're seeing are just people in the other timelines.
Oh, that's actually cool. So the Tindalos Trinity is 3 different timelines, perspectives that see little shadows and creatures, but the creatures they're just seeing are people from alternate timelines and universes that are overlapping somehow.
Slowly passing into theirs. Turns out this had happened some time ago, and there were 3 timeline divergences at the point the SCP Foundation was made. However, the leaders of these 3 timelines agree that it would be best to put their resources together as
and lie to the populace. Are you one of the sheep that listens to the government saying that we don't live in a trinity of converging timelines? That's cute. That's cute, sheep.
their realities are crashing into each other and create one true reality. That reality would be the universe we exist in, and the reason it is SCP-001 is because it explains where we came from. Next we have Tan Honey's second proposal, and that
the Black Moon. This is my favorite. This is my favorite all-time SCP. All-time favorite SCP.
that is of the Black Moon.
I already did a whole deep dive on this. My deep dive is like 40 minutes long just on this one SCP. Like, dude, this one is actually goated.
This describes a sort of cycle that occurs. Supposedly there's this creature known as the Black Moon who has existed for as long as time itself has existed.
That's long.
At any time at once, it can turn any number of people into a sort of black solid material that then
Space dust. It could dematter people. It could just turn people into little antimatter bloopers.
disintegrates and disappears. This power seemingly knows no bounds, and anytime this thing wants, all of humanity can be wiped out with one move. The only thing that can supposedly fight the Black Moon is
The Chosen One!
its counterbalance, as it's known. Also to us known as the Administrator.
Also to us known as the Emperor of Mankind. This is what I've been saying all along, bro. Praise the Emperor. He's out there sacrificing people in an endless war. Yeah, but maybe he's really just trying to take down the Black Moon. Okay, you don't know. This is why everyone that's saying, yes, it's immoral that the Emperor gets 1,000 psychers sacrificed to his corpse every day. But to that I say, you don't know what he's actually doing or what he's cooking, bro. Sit down.
According to this, the Administrator existed before names existed, meaning there was so few people on Earth that they didn't even think to call each other anything.
Yeah, he was one of the first people that ever lived in this theory, and he lived throughout time. His goal and he's immortal. So his immortal goal was to guide society, kind of like how the Emperor of Mankind did in Warhammer 40k. But like, he had to guide society through every generation, trying his very best to find a way to stop the Black Moon. The Black Moon is not just a extra moon that's floating in the sky. The Black Moon is a concept that just disintegrates life anywhere in the known universe. Nux, you have to see SCP-5000. It's also written by the same author. Yeah, I have to check that one out. That one's also highly recommended to me.
When he was a young boy, a man came up to him and told him that it was his responsibility to fight the Black Moon, and he gave him the powers of immortality. The Administrator has spent his entire existence trying to figure out a way to destroy the Black Moon, and started the SCP Foundation some thousands of years ago as a means of doing so.
Yep, that was the whole point of the SCP Foundation. Capturing anomalies, not just to contain the anomalies, to prevent the anomalies from, destroying humans and shit, which is what it seems like, but also, he's capturing every anomaly he can to find an anomaly to beat the Black Moon. That is why he did everything. That's why he does all these tests on the SCP-682, for example, the indestructible lizard. Why do they keep testing shit on the lizard? Just keep him locked up. They need to keep testing shit on the lizard to know if the lizard can actually beat the Black Moon. That is what he does. The entire SCP Foundation is a facade for finding a super weapon to stop this nigh invincible, godlike, endless entity.
There's a line said in this story that I think is kind of indicative of the role that the Administrator and the Black Moon take throughout this story, in which the Administrator is asking the person. The Administrator barely prevails and uses the last of his powers that he stole from the Black Moon in order to create a new world with his final words, "Let there be light."
Oh, God, dude. Wait. No, wait.
With each other, to which the Administrator and the Black Moon get into a fight with each other.
Okay, so to make it clear, this isn't just they get into a fight with each other. The Black Moon is destroying reality, okay? And as time progresses, its destruction of reality is getting faster and faster and faster. So it started off by disintegrating one human being every day. And as the years progressed, it was one human being every hour. And then it was 10 human beings every hour. Then it was thousands of people every minute. And it wasn't just humans. It was wiping out all forms of other life forms. They went throughout the galaxy to try to find anyone that survived the Black Moon. But the Black Moon was just dusting everyone. What the Administrator ended up doing is he created this little room, a room that's completely he made it look like a bar on the inside. He made this little room that he could live in, and it has air and all that shit, whatever. And it's built based on anomalous materials to keep it basically indestructible. Any concept that enters this room becomes reality. That is the anomaly that he found through his hunt as the SCP Administrator to start this whole shit. So after the Black Moon wipes out everything in reality, aside from this one room, which is a conceptual cage, it entered the room. It became a manifestation of the concept. The Administrator killed it in single combat and reset reality. Flicked a switch, said, "Let there be light," and reset reality. That is the coolest SCP concept of all time.
The Administrator barely prevails and uses the last of his powers that he stole from the Black Moon in order to create a new world with his final words, "Let there be light." Implication being that a new universe was created with a new Black Moon and eventually...
And a new counterbalance. We are living in an endless cycle where there's ultimately a Black Moon and counterbalance coming out there. Eventually there will be some sort of infinite apocalypse. Eventually the counterbalance will win. Say, "Let there be light." The cycle begins again. And then they had gay sex.
The Administrator himself will become the old man who tells a young boy in primordial times that it is his job to fight the Black Moon, and the cycle will repeat on itself.
What a sick concept. This is easily one of my favorite stories of all time. This is, I think, the pinnacle of what the SCP Foundation can be.
Also,
But also, I think there's also a theory that the new universe does not have a Black Moon. That he won, and now we could live in a Black Moon-free universe. I think that's another theory. But it's really, really cool.
All of these proposals, the phrase, "Does the Black Moon
howl?"
kept popping up. I did a bunch to try to figure out how this relates to stuff. That question...
Yeah, again, they kept saying that. Every few paragraphs, they go, "But does the Black Moon howl? Only at night. Does the Black Moon howl? Like, only if there's fucking people that it could butt fuck." You know? Like, it's just a really weird word that doesn't seem to make any sense. They called the Black Moon howling whenever it would eviscerate people.
Questions even asked in the story a few times to which there's answers. So I would go back to the other 01 proposals that mentioned the Black Moon and enter in those answers, and I couldn't get any, secrets or something to pull out. I feel like the Black Moon is a more overarching thing in at least the 01 proposals than a lot of people currently know. So I'm going to look into it more, and if I
Interesting. I would love it if there was some deeper lore to the Black Moon.
find anything, I'll make a video on it. Next.
Ronnie's Black Moon. They found a way to give the Black Moon an Empyrean.
So we have Rajit's second proposal, and that is the conspiracy.
No way JFK's assassination is an SCP. No way, dude. Oh my god.
In this, SCP-001 is the bullet that killed JFK, which, something I'm totally impartial to.
I am partial to it. I think, okay, should I say this, or am I going to get banned on YouTube? This is the fear. The fear of being based. To live to be banned on YouTube another day. But this is one of the most, in my opinion, likely conspiracies, to put it that way.
Have no real opinions about.
Yeah.
However, according to this, the reason that that moment is so important is because it was the last real conclusive event that ever happened on Earth. Supposedly, two different sort of parallel timelines or realities co-interacted with each other at the same moment, and that's the reason that the true JFK shooting can never be found out, because it is simultaneously one thing as it is another.
I have no idea what that means, but okay. Anything to admit that it wasn't an assassination, I'm good with it.
From this is
I mean, it was obviously an assassination, but I don't know. I think this is one of the most likely conspiracy theories of all. Like, whenever I hear, like, conspiracy theories, yes, the Jews control the world. The Illuminati controls the world. The fucking Twin Towers was an inside job. Okay, no, honestly, that one also has some weight to it. I'm not gonna lie. The Twin Towers one is also a really, really sus one. But no, this one of all of them, I think, is the most likely conspiracy.
Where timelines branch off and the Mandela effect starts. It's where we see the rise of several 20th century mental health conditions, and it implies
This guy gets shot in the head and I get depressed? Ain't no way, dude.
that because this shooting was so conspired and against itself, it created branching narratives for the world.
Wait, because it's such a conspiracy. The conspiracy itself created a paradox and created other worlds. All right, that's pretty cool.
A whole. So, yeah. Next, we have Arbalek's proposal of "You are the anomaly."
Oh, this is another one that a lot of people told me to look into. You are the anomaly.
Tumor of worlds. Similar to World at Large, this story seems to be taking place from the perspective of another entity viewing humanity. According to this, the way that humans exist is different from every other thing that exists in the universe.
All right.
Because we exist as such tangible, physical beings.
Okay, that's not the most interesting part of humanity, emo.
Every time that we make a decision, we create a separate branching universe.
Well, that is the parallel worlds theory, right? It's that every possibility becomes reality. I guess this just puts more credence on the human thought that your thought creates a reality. But then again, if Schrodinger's cat theory is accurate, you know, the idea that it's the human mind that collapses a wave function to create reality. All right, I'm getting way too quantum physics. I did quantum physics lore dives before lore dives were cool, okay? So basically, Schrodinger's cat theory, for the uninitiated, you have a cat in a room with two buttons. If it pushes one button, it's dead. If it pushes the other button, it's alive. It pushes one of the buttons, you don't know which button. Currently, because there is no human consciousness that is looking at this cat is both in a state of flux. It is in a state of both living and death simultaneously, until a human consciousness looks at the cat and sees if the cat is dead or alive. That collapses the wave function and creates the reality that we live in. This is Schrodinger's cat theory. That's basically Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. That's the really fast crash course on quantum physics Heisenberg lore, okay? This is the lore dive none of you thought was happening today. So if human consciousness creates reality, then human decision-making should create alternate universes the same way. Which I think is a really fucking cool idea.
Those that have watched my other videos will know that that is string theory. Or,
yeah.
you know, if you already knew what string theory is, I mean, I'm not like the governing body on string theory. It's not.
No, that's... Listen. He knows string theory like I know string theory. We've done the lore dives, okay? We're not fucking physicists. Okay, all right.
I didn't come up with it because
You didn't come up with... Wendigoon didn't come up with string theory?
of the rate in which we create new universes from this, we are going to inevitably cause a collapse in which the universe can't sustain the number of paradoxes we're creating, and we are going to destroy all life everywhere at once.
Based, rip Xenos. I'm just saying, more of them will die than us. Right? Like, ultimately, that's a dub. God damn.
Because we're so bad at existing. Next is McDoctorate's proposal of the placeholder. The placeholder starts by saying that 001 is exactly that, a placeholder, a spot that has no entry for it, and if you have any further information, contact the doctor linked here. Then whenever you contact the doctor linked here, you're taken to a file saying that this doctor doesn't actually exist.
Oh my god, this is just the American healthcare system all over again. It's like, oh, do you have information? Come here. Okay, you go there. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay, you could go there, though, if you want to give it free. You got the information. It doesn't exist. Find a new folder. File a new shit. Go to a new doctor. Find a new this.
And something weird's going on here with the 001. To spare some time, you eventually figure out that there are two entities before creation known as the Archvile and the Primordial. One creates universes and stories, and the other destroys them. At the end of the story, the two agree to rewrite reality.
No! No.
And come together starting at the beginning. The beginning being SCP-001. However, they can't come to a consensus and decide to simply reset things to the way that they were. However, when you get to the end and it simply takes you back to the beginning, you realize that you are reading through the circular story of these two old world gods resetting the universe only to decide that it's not good enough and then resetting again, and so on and so forth.
Oh, this sounds a lot like Hindu mythology, right? Brahma and Shiva, yeah, the god of destruction and the god of creation, constantly discussing, and either that or Minecraft. The SCP-001, we are Minecraft! Oh, Minecraft!
Forever. And then finally,
I've seen the face of God, and it was square!
we have Rounder House's proposal
Ooh, Memento Mori. This is another one that a lot of people told me to look into.
of Memento Mori. I should also mention that Memento Mori means a harbinger or sign of coming death.
Yeah.
According to this, SCP-01 is the administrator's mansion located in Virginia.
It's always Virginia. Bro, it's always Virginia. Always Virginia. Oh my god. Country road, take your memento mori, we're gonna die.
Supposedly, this is the site that the O5 Council resides in. Every
Unus annus.
single room of this mansion is in itself anomalous and describes something about that member of the O5 Council.
That's actually really cool. I like that idea.
You can even read into it and read the entries for what each room is and try to deduce from that what the O5 member might be. However, we're following from the perspective of the 13th member, to which he then goes out to the back of the house and sees a graveyard. There, in the graves, are the bodies of all 12 O5 members with their specific names and descriptions.
Right, the ones that were killed out by number 13.
It's said there that the descriptions change depending on how the reader feels about the person buried there.
Okay, that's pretty anomalous. It's just this big, wacky, anomalous house. I thought Memento Mori would be something so much scarier. Memento Mori just means remember your death, right? So I thought this would get, like, insane. Like, insane creepy. It's just a whacked out trick house, crack house of just different rooms with different anomalous. One of them looks like Asmongold's room, and you wonder how you don't just die of cancer the moment you enter there.
We then find out at the very end of this story that this 13th member we're reading from the perspective of is Dr. Gears, with the final part of the story being the administrator inviting Dr. Gears to death, as Dr. Gears is reading the tombstones of the other 12 members, and when he gets to his own tombstone, it simply says Memento Mori.
Alright, it's pretty dark. Pretty dark as shit.
The implication being that this SCP-01 could be viewed as the end of the Foundation, or at least the O5 Council itself, and we see one of its members, one of its first members, Dr. Gears, being reminded and then confronting his own death. And that...
Cool story, but I don't know how that's SCP-001. Cool story, I like that, but alright.
is it for the 01 proposals.
Damn,
now, this is
bro.
an ongoing thing, and more keep being added. So if more are added in the future, enough to make another video on, then I certainly will and cover all the new ones. However,
Yeah, I think the main one that I have to be looking into next on this 01 list, bro, I gotta look at the Gate Guardian. I feel like the Gate Guardian is such an interesting concept that I really have to look into. I really want to do that one. Also, the Ouroboros cycle is another one that a lot of people have been asking me to do, but this was a banger, yeah.
this is my first branch into SCP content that's not also iceberg content.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude. I'm so happy to see Wendigoon succeed. I really love this dude. He may be a fascist dog whistle because of his Hawaiian shirts, but I do love the guy. Man's actually the GOAT. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed. I did. This has been the basically blind reaction to 99% of SCP-001s. This was a really good one. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip, and stay weird, fam. If you made it to the end, click one of these two videos, which also will definitely get me canceled. See you live on King. Stay weird, fam.